Hey people, it's Anne here with Reaper Miniatures Toolbox Live. It's great to see you all. I see many of you in the chat room. I hope you're ready for like dragon completion, because like pretty much this today is just like polishing off the little bits and pieces that Mr. Dragon needs for us to move on to Mr. Other Dragon with the new year. Since, is it next week, Christmas? Yeah, 1 week from today is Christmas, people. Are you panicked yet? I am.
Hopefully you got all of your presents together and are ready for those fun times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I was supposed to wrap my presents last night, and then I promptly ran out of time, and so now I have to wrap my presents tonight and mail them tomorrow. So, yeah. 3-day select is me at this point. Silverthorn, you are absolutely a cat bed if you have a cat. It's just, it happens normally. You just get that. It's like if you had a search term as a human being, when you get a cat, it's hashtag catbed is you. It would bring you up. Just the way it is. Never enough dragons? It's true. All bought but not wrapped. Yeah, but D. Clearman, if you're not shipping any, then it's much easier. I have to ship to my family. I've been panicked, thanks. Yes, Nomad Zeke, you're in the boat with me. All right, cool. Oh yeah, winter solstice also, which is my brother's birthday also, so it's like crazy. So hey, hi Dan Goodchild, hello everybody. Yay, purry cats are the best. All right, so let's just get into it. I've got all my paint mixed up. You want to get into it, or shall I announce the model and the giveaway, Collins?
Yeah, let's do that first, but
all
we
right.
can remind people
well, first of all, let's remind people that we're doing The Dance of Death by Julie Guthrie, which we discovered last week has not yet been out.
It has not made it here to the States.
So. It's not made it into the States, but now you guys are going to be all ready when it hits. You're going to be like, have a whole series of videos to watch to inspire you to work on your dragons. You can paint along with me step by step, which is awesome. So we're going to be working on like mostly the wing struts of Mr. Dragon today to finish him off, and there's some underside parts that we're going to do as well. I can't do his tail until we are ready to construct the whole thing, unfortunately, because I need something to hold on to. So that's our thing for today, and to honor the fact that you guys can't yet get this model, we have tiny Julie Guthrie dragons. So maybe Collins has do you have a picture, Collins, that you can link to chat?
I'm going to put the link to the actual miniature.
Okay, so this is the young fire dragon. It actually is the little dragon that Julie sculpted for our 54mm line, the Master Series miniatures, for the Dragon Summoner. So if you look online on the Reaper website and you type in Dragon Summoner, you'll see the lady who goes with this dragon, but we also just released the dragon. So this is a metal model for the giveaway today. We need 10 subs. Every 10 subs, we will give away another little metal dragon. And the reason that I chose this guy in particular is that he's smaller, but he looks a lot like Mr. Black Dragon here, in the head especially. And the scale pattern is nice and detailed, as Julie normally does. So essentially, I figured if you get one of these guys, you can try the techniques that I'm using on the bigger guy on the little guy. And it should all be good.
There he is in the corner.
Oh, yay, there he is. He's cute. Isn't he adorable? He's actually one of my favorite little dragons that we've done, just because Julie does such nice little dragons. So he could also be a young dragon companion for your adventuring party, if you should choose to, allow that sort of thing.
Thanks, i5 Pants, for that sub. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the sub.
Also, someone subbed right before we started, too.
That's one of my patrons.
Ooh, even better.
Yeah, my patrons. Power in the Twitch. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Herrick7 also gave us a subscription. And
Yay,
looks like we have
Herrick7.
here Thantos.
Fantastic. You guys rock. Okay, so yeah. So baby dragons for people if we get enough subs. I have faith in you guys. All right, so I've got my paint all mixed. I'm actually alarmingly together today, although mildly sniffly. Hopefully not coming down with all the crap that is all the way, all everywhere else in Reaper.
Silverthorn, thank you for that 5 gift. We appreciate it.
Oh, Silverthorn is the best. And a cat pillow. A cat bed. But yes. Yeah. All right, so let's swap to minicam, Collins, if we could. Yeah, awesome. Fantastic. Now we can work on, as you can see, we've worked on our interior here, but we need this area. We need the struts, the bones of the dragon wing. We need this done. And we also need it done on the outside. So I looked previously at the position this wing is on the model, and this is something you'll want to do if you're trying to kind of make your light sourcing line up and you're working on a big multi-piece model that doesn't necessarily show up, in the direction that it it should be painted in. You know, when you're holding a dragon, you tend to hold it like it's on the ground, but this guy actually is more vertical on the piece. So I have to kind of sock it in his wing and look at where the light would come down on it. There we go. And mostly the light, just like my highlights say, most of the light falls here. So we're going to have pretty strong highlights here, and they're going to kind of fall off as we get down on the struts down here. So I got to keep that in mind as I'm painting. And of course, everything down here is in shadow, so the highlights will be just really reflected light, just a little hint of highlight on the underside of the wing. You don't have to do it all. Now, leaving it blank and black would be wrong because even black scales are going to reflect a little bit of light. So is Rhonda here? Yes, Rhonda is here. Hey, Rhonda. All right, so yeah, so our position of our wing is more like this. So this is going to be a real strongly highlighted area, just like the top of the wing here got more highlights than the rest of it. So let's work on that. So we're going to do our quickie technique, which of course is we're working with runic purple. Our usual draconic suspects are here with our paint line. Really limited palette on this one, actually. But so for my scales, what we've been doing is a base of pure black. Then we blend in some runic purple, and on top of that, blend that in with some pure white. So we get our kind of wet blend highlights all set up. At the end of it, we glaze with swamp green. And what that does is it turns these white highlights green. So you can kind of see that on the side here of him, although the color's not quite true, but this looks greenish. And then there's purple around it. That's because the green reads stronger around the areas that aren't as strongly purple. So if you've got purple, the green has a harder time fighting it. But if it's just white, the green picks that up right away.
Planar Crossroads, thank you very much for that sub.
Woohoo! Where are we? How many subs do we have?
One away
from dragon number 1. All right, let's rock that. So, okay, without further ado, we will begin wet blending. I like if I'm going to wet blend to lay down a base coat first. So obviously I base coated this with black. Now I can actually take a thinner black to set up my wet blend with instead of loading another thick layer on there. And we're going to just kind of brush it over the area. I'm using a larger brush today. I'm actually using my mixing brush, but I don't need to be real precise with these big areas, so I guess that's okay. My mixing brush is a bad brush. For those of you who know, every once in a while I order a new brand of brush to try out because I'm like, maybe there's something better or as good as Da Vinci's that I could get a little cheaper. And then, you know, inevitably the brush fails me and I curse its name and lineage, and then it becomes a mixing brush. It is then doomed to mix paints for the rest of its days until it loses its point and has a very moroseful rest of its life. I can't help it. I just torment brushes. Painting is magic? Oh, no, there is not a metallic Mazamune, or Mazamoon. It's just highlights. It's all just highlights. I actually used no metallics on this dragon. Maybe I should do a metallic dragon. I know that's
metallic kind of white.
I can do it. We have a metallic white. We have pearl white. It is within the realm of possibility. Though it could look just kind of weird. Because the thing is, when you've already got kind of non-metallic effects, like I do on the side of the dragon there, that kind of looks shimmery and aquatic, then if you throw metallics at it, suddenly things read weird. Like, you know, like it's like, well, why isn't that other dragon metallic then? So you gotta be careful with that sometimes. Oh, do we have a focusy? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm raising the wing a bit. We're trying to get real sharp here. Collins is going above and beyond because Justin is sick. He is attempting to make sure that we are always focused, even though I'm handling the wing differently this time. Yeah, so it's my fault.
Focus is important.
Focus is important in life and in mini painting. And in camera-ing. Rose gold dragon, please no. Although actually you could paint tiny dragon in rose gold. What I would recommend if you wanted to do that is putting down a base coat. You could use something like tarnished copper, which is one of the Kickstarter copper NMM colors. That would be 93.0, I want to say 93.05. No, Mad Zeke. I should, though. I should. You fail me yet again. Yes. I'm definitely a Transformers fan from way back. But Although there's so many other great fail quotes at this point.
I tried to rewatch those again because I remember growing up watching all those
Right.
cartoons.
They're terrible, aren't they?
They're really there's no real
There's no plot.
substance to anything, and everything changes. The scene's all so fast.
Yeah, yeah.
No wonder my.
But we ate them up as kids. I think the reason that they did so well with Transformers is actually the characterization. We all loved Optimus Prime, and we all loved the big fights, and we all loved that. I think that's why we glommed onto them, even though they maybe weren't like prime TV. Usually there's something. Well, that and giant transforming semi-trucks. I mean, come on.
My favorite was the Take That guy.
Dark Kosami. Yeah, I wash them. I don't prime my bones, so washing them is a necessary part of Anne's balanced techniques. There we go. We got some purple set up. I got to remember my positioning. I want to make sure that my white is at the very top of each of these surfaces because that's where the light's going to fall. So if the wing is like this, I probably want to be there, more in the middle. Oh, this brush is now splitting because it's not a real brush. It's like, ha, you abused me and now I've betrayed you.
Well, Twisted, it does appear that Justin did spend way too much hanging out with both McKaylee and her family. So that's what kind of wrecked him. They had a communal little bug going around. So
Yeah,
he's out.
yeah, there's always, not as bad as when Ron Hawkins' kids were in school. Or I guess the youngest is still in school, isn't he? But
Yes.
yeah,
He's
so
still in high school.
yeah, high school. Not quite as bad as having all these kids in like kindergarten and grade school where we all know the plagues run rampant. Ron was pretty much patient zero for Reaper for many years. So whenever we got something, we knew that his kids had had it. All right, doing a little bit of bright white highlight here. And then we're going to glaze.
Gridloxies would like to know if you have any additives.
Additives. Yeah, I'm throwing a little bit of flow improver into these. Usually I just use water, but sometimes I like the flow. So I have kind of a mixture that I've doctored up of like Reaper flow improver and water. So it's not quite as concentrated as normal flow aid. Most flow improvers should be diluted anyway, and our flow improver is somewhat diluted, but I don't mind having mostly water with just a little bit of help. And that's kind of my mix these days. It's what I used to do in the old days too. I used to always use a water mixed with flow improver thing, except at that point I also was adding in drying retarder. I don't know. There's something else I was adding in at that point, but I definitely don't do the extra retarder anymore. So let's see here. I want to get a little bit more detail on that. Boom, boom. Oh yeah, plague carriers. High school is not as bad. I agree, Raven Blackrose. Oh yeah. Thanks for answering that, Dan Goodchild. Sorry, I'm actually painting and I should be looking at the chat more. Yes, yeah. There's usually, and it doesn't, and it varies, right? But there can often be mold release residue, and so washing them will take it off. What I usually do, and by wash we don't mean like scrub them to within an inch of their life or anything. It's not like small children when you finally get them into the bathtub. Instead, what I usually do is I'll grab a bunch of them, whatever bones minis I'm going to be dealing with, and I'll throw them into my plastic mixing bowl and put a squirt of dish soap in there and then throw really hot water in there and swoosh them around and then rinse them off and let them dry overnight on a paper towel or a dish towel. Yeah. And that's good enough.
Dark Asami, I have had a lot of both metal and plastic minis in my life. I've never had a metal mini rust, and I often wash them and then let them air dry overnight.
Yeah, I don't believe that does tin oxidize?
That is a good science question.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody
get on Google and type, does tin oxidize? Because today's models, unlike the old days where everything was lead, lead does not oxidize, but tin might. And if tin does, then if you have a very moist environment, you might actually experience rust. So I'm sure somebody has the internet and can help us with that question. I'm going to continue painting my dragon. Just going to keep going down the wing. I'm going to pretty much decide I'm going to do the whole thing before I do the glaze. So I'm going to pick up all these little struts and bits, and I'm going to leave the surface a lot of black. I'm mostly focusing my highlights. And once I glaze this down with some green, it's going to really mute out a lot of the purple and darken it, because the green I'm using is swamp green, which is very dark itself. So it'll end up reading black is my plan. Lead rot is bad, yeah. Metallic tin does not easily oxidize in air. Right, so it's resistant to it, Mazamuni. So maybe, yeah. Because everything these days, white metal, which is what people use because we don't use lead mix anymore, is a large percentage of tin. Extremely large. Yeah, okay. So Elwindle, thank you. Requires a lot of very specific conditions. So yeah, the answer is almost never then.
Ashley is curious if coal black is going to go back into stock. That is a great question.
Yeah, we actually just talked to Tanya earlier, Sadie and I, and that was one of the colors that Sadie has some actually pumped, and she told Tanya that she could get it to her like ASAP. So I would expect coal black to be back in stock soon. We're actually rushing to flip all of the holiday colors right now because you guys are buying them, which is so nice. I'm glad that we finally kind of like said, hey guys, these are really cool colors and you should buy them. And you guys said, oh yeah, we should. It's great. Because before they were kind of lackluster. We were like, oh, are these not good? I know they're good. So that's great. And the other thing you guys should be aware of, I don't know if it's on your radar, and maybe you guys already have the whole Bones line, but we are putting out Bones in sets now, Reaper Bones. So if you wanted to get the pistol case type sets, the smaller sets, like maybe you're on a budget and you kind of have to, you want new paint, but you have to kind of spread it out. Bones now does come in the pistol cases just like HD used to.
Up to 5 sets, Ann.
Yeah, we're up to 5. The 5th set's about to release in January. We are actually working on the last part of it right now. And I think Sadie actually outed this on her stream, so I can say it. We are also working on set 6, which will include a bunch of HDs. We're bringing back a few HDs due to popular demand, and they will be essentially just flipped over into the Bones line. So set 6 will have some of those. And then, of course, there's still some that exist in the Learn to Paint kits, as Rhonda knows. Just kind of, I'm just using, and this, you know, you want to keep most of the surface on a black dragon black, but you can accentuate the areas of detail. So these are very long bones, and then there's a connection of cartilage. So you can highlight the two ends of the bones, because that's what would stick out through the skin, and leave a lot of the interior part black, and it will still look just fine. As you can see, you can read that. You can easily see that there are bones there, even though I'm leaving a large section of it black. Popular demand equals Bobby Jackson. You are so right, Rhonda. Bobby Jackson, well, he's a rock star. What can we say? We pretty much bow down if Bobby heckles Ron enough, it happens. How about that? And Bobby's a very good heckler. So I'm not saying that if you guys want something to come back, you should tell Bobby Jackson at ReaperCon and ask him to heckle Ron about it. But, you know, you might have to make it worth his while.
Every opportunity to heckle Ron is one that should be taken.
I agree. Mr. Collins has excellent sense of priorities. Scotch Goblin, what did we miss for Reaper Live? Scotch Goblin had a question and it's off the screen already. If you want, you can shrink the text a little bit. I can read it pretty well. That way we don't have it.
Scotch Goblin, any chance of a new Centaur miniature? I've got
that is an Ed and Ron question.
There's, you know,
though there is a great Centaur in the Greek expansion for Bones 5, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
Because I loved that expansion.
We have a metal version of him.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen him. He's a great Centaur.
There was definitely a print of him at one point.
Yeah, who knows where it's gone to? Somebody ate it. Just gonna get these outer bones now. Bones Black Sir 4 scale. I want a reimagined Sir 4 scale. Like I want a Sir 4 scale leveled up. That's what I want.
This question was brought before Ron, and Ron made note that there's the Crusader Swordsman, and that's kind of what he is. Let me see if I can.
Oh, is he supposed to? Crusader Swordsman is supposed to be a leveled up Sir 4 scale? Because I thought that we were going to do an evolution of Sir 4 scale. Yeah. But then he should be given an appropriate name. Again, I'm just concentrating on where the bones stick out here on the wing. See? There we go. Drop it down so you guys can see it. Right. In reality, this purple is a bit more red than it looks on camera. We're actually reading a bit cold today, but that's because it's freaking cold here in Texas. It was like 28 this morning. Seriously. Wisconsin, take back your weather.
So here is, although
Yeah.
this is I guess the bones version of the guy. There's
But
another
still,
version
that's
of the guy, too.
kind of an evolution. It's still Sir Forescale. He's just more active and, you know, a little bit cool factored.
Raised his shield up, got a little bit cooler sword.
Yes, exactly, Dark Knight Azareth. Sir Forescale completed a quest and bought armor, and wouldn't every yeah, totally. That's what he wanted. Sir Forescale, well, no matter how much we love him, cannot stay level 2 forever.
This is the truth. This is the truth.
All right. Yeah, Crispy's live. I actually was in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is where the state I grew up in, so that's why I blame it when cold weather comes to here. You guys actually have snow, though, or had snow. Oh, a graduated pole arm. That's a great idea. Yeah. That would be super funny.
Extension on, thank you for that sub. That gives us our first mini giveaway.
Awesome. Yay, we're giving away a tiny dragon. Which mini number was that for the Sir Forescale Evolved? Vacnon asked.
Because I'm awesome, it's out of stock. 77551.
Yeah, of course it's out of stock. It's Sir Forescale.
The metal version actually comes with some options in the hand, so you get like a flail, a sword.
Oh, wow. So he bought numerous weapons so that he could get better crit chances.
And then that's $38.29.
Yeah. North Carolina for a family holiday. That's nice. I'm going out to California for New Year's very briefly. Hopefully the weather will be nicer there. But as was discussed by Collins and I earlier, for Christmas I am staying in town and cooking a duck. Because I love to cook and ducks are tasty. And nature agrees with me that ducks are tasty because ducklings are like, have a huge mortality rate because of ducks are tasty. Mini freeze, we have a sub. Oh, everybody hashtag freeing because we actually are giving away a baby dragon. All right, so I've got my purples mapped out. I need a little bit more white in some of those areas or my green won't show up when I glaze it. So I'm gonna do just a little bit of white-ish color. And then I'll be able to glaze. And then I'll do the ones on the inside.
Planer, I'm not sure
what
which email you sent your message to. But if you do need something taken care of, you can just email me and I'll reach out to him.
Yeah, paint department email is probably mostly internal. So yeah, it's much more reliable to get Mr. Collins because...
Or Justin at reaperlive.
Yeah, because if there's something that we desperately need to know or need to like take care of, then they tell us very reliably. So. Because paint moves so fast, we really don't spend time on email. So we're always working on stuff. One priority dies and another 3 spring up to take its place. So, all right, I'm gonna glaze with my green stuff. I'm debating how strong I want my glaze. I think I need more water. Glazing is usually a 1-to-1 paint to water at very minimum. And if you add additives, you may need to thin it even more. Often with glazing, adding a little brush on sealer isn't a bad idea if you want to get a little more transparency, especially if you are using a lighter color. It can help because lighter colors naturally tend to cover better. It's just the way the pigment acts.
Astley the Monk made a good point here about properly cooking your duck by shoving it in a turkey first.
But I just
classic
want the duck.
turducken.
But the problem with that is that then you don't get the crispy skin. You don't get crispy skin duck. You only get turkey crispy skin, which is not quite as good. I did a turkey for Thanksgiving last year, and it was super fun. But this year it was a very short and abbreviated Thanksgiving, so I only did a chicken. I do love to cook, though. It is one of my hobbies that I try desperately to make time for.
Twisted Dama.
I'm going to try to slobber this on.
Twisted Dama.
Twisted Dama?
Want to know if Seti's champagne color is coming out on the 23rd.
Is it?
The last I heard, she announced it, and Ron confirmed it before she announced it, so that should be happening.
I just slobbered green all over this. Are you guys horrified? You should be. Now I'm going to use a rinsed out brush that is had the water squeezed out of it to kind of slurp off excess, because you never want to leave your glaze pooling because it's so thin that it usually gives you not great results. Spread my green a little bit. Now what this is going to do is going to take down the purple a bit, and it's going to add that hint of green to our area. And it's going to make our highlights look just a little greenish, which is what I'm aiming for. And then I'm essentially doing a small area, and this is a test. So based on how this dries, if it is what I want it to be, then I'll apply this mixture over the rest of the wing. But if I decide I want it more green, like if it's not quite green enough, then I'm going to change my mix before I do the rest of the wing. So, you know, always test it out, kind of figure it out. I am kind of liking how this is drying, so we're going to give it a second. While we do that, I can actually do the interior of the wing. Now this one, we don't want our highlights to be quite as strong. Doo-doo-doo. What kind of dog are you getting?
It is a shepherd mix. However, if I had to guess, it is not to fall prey to the dog of the year, but the Belgian Malinois.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's 3 years old.
Okay, is she bouncy?
We got her. We're gonna get her from a rescue lady. The story that has been going around, because my wife's doing all the coordinating for all that stuff, is that this lady just happens to live nearby a breeder, and this breeder is not particularly kind to his dogs.
Oh, I hate that. Oh,
yeah.
As a reputable breeder myself, at least in the past, I really hate it when that happens.
We
Gives us all a bad name.
harbor a little bit of resentment to the guy. We've obviously never met him or talked to him.
Right, but yeah.
So she seems like she's going to be a great little bit of energy. My current 2 dogs are 12. They're catching the on the tail end of their particular lifespan, so we wanted to bring a younger dog in to kind of be a part of the pack before they go. Which sounds like a downer now that I say it out loud in the chat, but
Well, but adding, it's two thought processes, right? Like one, yes, your young dog will be sad when the old dogs pass, but at the same time, adding a puppy or a younger dog in often makes the old dogs feel younger and gets them to play again. So it can be a good thing for your old dogs psychologically.
that was the idea.
Yeah. Well, good. Yay for shepherd mix. And actually, Malinois, I mean, the Belgian breeds are nice. They're just high energy. So if you know that going in, then you're good.
Yeah, we needed, Danny and I have gotten awfully lazy lately.
Yes.
We need a dog that's going to get us out of the house and run in and all that other fun stuff.
That dog will do that. Are you going to bring her to work? Because I'd love to meet her.
Yes.
Because I love my shepherd
Danny's
mixes.
going to be working from home during the holidays. And as soon as that's done, because she'll still be kind of new in the environment, she'll be coming with me to kind of get acclimated.
Yeah.
The
that
goal
makes
is
sense.
to eventually get her to a position where we can take her to be a therapy dog. So
Oh, yay.
I definitely rely on my pets for that personally. So
Yes.
I need that in my life.
Yeah, we did that with one of our dogs, Leo. Leo was a therapy dog. We went to nursing homes. And yeah, it definitely is a get some socialization in, before you go so that your dog is comfortable in environments like that. Especially if you want to go to hospitals or nursing homes, because there's a lot of weird machines and machinery being pulled around, and there's a lot of narrow areas and people in walkers and all sorts of fun stuff. So.
Plus, this is probably the most friendly dog environment I've ever worked in.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
Reaper's hugely dog friendly. I mean, my dog Kiri is downstairs as we speak, curled up on her bed in my office. Okay, so I'm highlighting a bit, but not nearly. You see, it's more subtle than I was doing on the top. I still will put a little bit of white, or a very white with a very tiny bit of purple, just to make these muscles stand out. You can see that you don't need much, right? You do not need much. There we go. So a little bit there, a little bit of there, a little bit on these scales, a little bit on these scales, a little bit there, there. Some spot highlights. That can suggest just light glancing off a surface and very irregularly hitting an area if you don't have a strong together highlight.
if you're going to try and make some of the light bounce on the membrane of the wing too, is that, would you try and make those same irregular patterns? Or?
Yeah, if I wanted the membrane to be really shiny, then yeah, I could definitely add some more glancing, or even just some light streaks toward the, like white streaks toward the edge of the wing. With the wings, I'm trying to kind of give more of a transparent feel rather than a shiny scale feel. But yeah, if you wanted them, like if, especially on the backside where it is black still, if I had brought this up to white and maybe suggested a little bit of the pattern that's already on the wing of the kind of leathery skin pattern, that would make this appear shiny as well. But I wanted this to be more glossy next to that. So. Okay. And now we can actually see how green that turned everything, guys? Yeah, actually that's about, I think, and the true test is, does it look right on the dragon? It's a little bit strong on the dragon compared to the other wing. But actually,
to your left.
There we go. Yeah, so it's a little bit greener. So now I can essentially know, all right, I need to tone it down a little bit. And this is easy to fix because I can just take my purple in and hit a few of these scales and it'll counteract that green. So.
That was loud. Thanks, Kabawaki, for following us.
Yeah. Oh, and we started on our next 10 subs?
We have not started on the next 10 at all, actually. So
people just wanted one little dragon, but I have an extra little dragon here, guys. Like seriously, yeah. This other extra little dragon is gonna be so sad if we don't get more subs. GSD genetic skin. Is it Demodex, Elwindale? Yeah. Yep. They have some allergies going on, that's for sure. We have Shiloh Shepherds, so we're our breed is derived from the German Shepherd, but it's and it's like related, but genetically we're a unique thing.
And then Jacob rolls in to make sure at least the second dragon gets on out of here. Thank you, Jacob, for that gift.
All right, Jacob Jansen, you're so cool. Thank you so much. Mr. Dragon will get a home. So yeah, we'll have 2 baby dragons for you to practice these techniques on. Ha 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 ha. Sesame Street reference there for you all. Do 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 do. I have made my glaze exactly. I added a little more water to it based on my first result, and now I'm applying it everywhere because I know that it's about where I want it. So I'm painting over all these struts to take down the purple and add my little tinge of green to give them that swampy black dragon look.
Thank you very much, Numbat, for that cheer. We appreciate it.
Yay, cheers. Cheers. Holiday cheers, people. It's going to be a good Christmas, I think, and a good New Year. I'm looking forward to it. And just paint, and I don't, by the way, you can be a little sloppy on this, because since you're painting black on a black wing and you're painting a dark green over it, it doesn't matter if there's a little bit of dark green on either side of these struts. So you don't have to be super persnickety about this, nor do you have to be really exact. So this is not a technique that you have to worry about, oh, my brush control isn't good enough. No, it's just fine. All right, so that's greenish, and now I need to add just a little bit of purple, a little bit more purple to that first part, because I took it down a little bit much. Yeah, Hyper Bunny. Contact allergies definitely in the shepherd breeds do occur. A lot of animals, actually, more animals have environmental, or more dogs have more environmental allergies than food allergies. A lot of people think it's the other way around. But
Michelle would like to know what kind of brushes you're using. I know that there used to be a command in the chat.
Yeah, I know. Justin had something set up, but usually what I do, Michelle, is what I like, the brush I like, and there's so many good companies, like Winsor & Newton Series 7 is a great company, Rosemary & Company is a great company. I like Da Vinci, so you can see Da Vinci Maestro is the brush. I'm using a slightly larger brush for this since I'm doing a lot of wet blending on slightly larger surfaces. My usual brush is much sharper for detail work. Where are we? Oh, this is like kind of a worn down one, but all right, so here's some brush comparisons. So the really skinny one, given it's kind of an abused one, so it's thinned down a bit, but is a Da Vinci Maestro, and it's the Series 10, which is the normal round, and it's a size 1. This other one with the gold ferrule is actually a size 0, but it's a full belly round, so it's a thicker brush. So they're actually very comparable in size, but this one carries a bit more paint. So that's why I'm working with it. It still has a fantastic tip, and it's the length I like, but it carries a little bit more paint for dealing with these larger surfaces and wet blending. So that's why we're using the Maestro Series 11 size 0 for this today. I actually have grown, wasn't sure about the full belly ones when I started, but I'm really grown to like this one. I'll probably order more. I don't know how I got into Da Vinci. I guess there was one point when people were talking about it when I was beginning painting, and I tried the Series 10 size 1, and it became the brush that I use for competition. I do almost everything with it. It's a bigger brush, but it's really slim, and it can hit really fine details, including eyeballs, really well. So I'm a fan. And I do try other brushes, because I never want to get too close-minded. I want to make sure that I can recommend more than one. I do like the Winsor Newton Series 7, just their standard, not the miniature brushes, but the standard sizes. And I used to use a 00 in that one a lot. But yeah, lately, I mean, Tori fed my addiction. Hanger 18 used to come to ReaperCon. Sadly, this past year was their last year. But he would always order my brushes because he knew he would sell a bunch, because I always recommend the Da Vinci's. But now I'm going to have to like find a new place to get them. Although I'm pretty sure I've got like a dozen of them hiding in various places in my collection. You guys ever do that? Like the other day, I was like, I found an extra, Da Vinci Maestro. Oh, look, here's another one. And then I went and I took inventory. Like I went through all the places I hide my brushes, and I found like 15 of the darn things that I'd forgotten I had. I just kept buying more because I assumed I was out. Tips are slightly less fat. So usually that's taper, coffee nerdery beer. So the taper on the brush is more gradual, and so the tip will be slimmer, and it's a way that the brush is shaped. And that's good to know. What series of the Rosemaries? Was it 22, 33? Or do you not know?
Are you asking me a question?
No.
Okay, good.
Asking chat.
Because what I know about brushes is which one to go steal from the store downstairs, and then paint.
Oh
like
yeah,
a
pen
toddler.
nibs, Coco Rohan, absolutely. Yeah, they're longer. Yep. Grim, I've had them recommended to me, and I've had them on my shopping list for a while, but I just have not had extra money to toss toward brushes. I actually have it as a note on my phone to order after Christmas, because usually I get a little bit of money from my dad. So I was like, I'm going to order these.
And it'd be a fun session.
My boyfriend loves the Rosemaries, though.
It'd be a fun session for your pro tips to do something on.
Brush comparison.
Brush comparison.
Brush comparison to you guys. Oh, hey, and Colin's just reminded me I'm doing a new show, guys. You heard it first or second. So we're doing this new thing. I'm going to be streaming even more. You get me twice on Wednesdays coming up in January. Starting the 7th, which is a Tuesday of January, we are going to be doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to start with, and it's going to be called Reaper ToolBox Pro Tips, and it's going to be a different thing that I'm doing. We didn't want to cancel the Dragon, so the Dragon is still going to go on at its usual time at 1:30 p.m. Central.
We were gonna shift that to 3.
Were we going to shift that to 3?
Yeah, so that way we could have the break in between the two shows. Because if you started at 11 and went to 12 or 12:30, you wouldn't get a break in that space.
Right. All right, Collins knows my schedule. Anyway, things are going to get switched up.
Correct.
Watch, where are we going to post it? Or is it on Twitch? Or is it on Facebook? Is it on Twitter?
I will be giving stuff to John, since he's now our social media guru. So he will post a lot of that information there,
All right.
as well as we'll make as many announcements on Twitch as we can.
Okay, so we'll try to give you guys the schedule coming up, but I'm going to be doing 3 shows plus the Dragon show a week. So, and what we're going to be doing is a lot of different models in the Pro Tips one, and it's usually going to be like one technique on one thing a day. So like one day I might do red hair on this dwarf, and another day I might do how to do beat up leather on a giant, things like that. And Collins has my initial schedule for the first month, so we're going to try to actually post up in advance what we're doing, which models, and what technique we'll be covering. So if you guys want to paint along, you certainly can. That way if you run into questions, you can ask live, and I'll answer.
And we will do our best to try and give you guys the paints ahead of time as well, so that we can, if you really wanted to follow on, like, step by step, we
Right.
can try and make that happen as best we can.
Right.
There may be some adjustments that happen on the fly.
and
so just
and
bear
may
that in
suddenly go, oh no. If he paints, does that mean Reaper will buy brushes as a expense? Maybe, but I'd rather just, if I buy them, I may get some reimbursement. How about that? Yeah, yep, Series 7 Kalinsky samples. Yeah, I mean, as long as you take good care of your brushes, they last a long time. I rather abuse mine especially when I'm competition painting. If I'm really just busting through, I tend to slim them down a lot over time. So usually in the course of a year, one of my Da Vinci Maestro Series 10 size ones will kind of go really skinnier and skinnier, but then they can hit super micro details, so they're still useful.
I ran across a problem with contrast paints, basically just killing my brushes the moment I used them.
Oh,
That
yeah.
stuff just goes
Because it wicks it
straight on
right up
all
into the
way
ferrule.
wick, yeah.
Yep, yep. Yeah, you be careful. Yeah, because they're using, because of the base they're using too. It probably is hard to clear out. So yeah, 33 and 22 are the two series in Rosemary's I've been recommended to meet Grimm. 33 is one on my list. So yeah, we're going to totally hurt your work productivity. That's our goal.
Oh, Numbat gave us some extra cheer and with the follow-on announcement of your
Oh, yay.
extra time on the
Thanks
show.
for the cheer. Extra cheers. All right. Make sure we're all good. Yeah. All right. Yes, older brushes are eyeball brushes. Yeah. Similar to me, Grimm. All right, so good. So I added a little bit more purple in there. I think we're just fine. We've got everything else set up. Look, it's an outside of a wing, and it's done, except for claws. Claws, I'm probably just going to have to do off the clock because I really want to get all the rest of everything done. So that's fine. We'll just continue to work on this winglet. It's almost...
Glorious Badger, if you're here, we appreciate you hosting us. We always like to see more people see us.
Yay, hosting! And with a name like Glorious Badger, you gotta love it. Yeah, there's some stuff that I will have to finish on this dragon off the camera, but I do really want to start New Dragon, or maybe the base. I haven't decided if I'm going to work on the base or if I'm going to work on New Dragon in January for that first week on the 8th. It'll depend on if I have like a clear concept for the base at that point. I've been kind of toying with doing kind of a sandstone thing with reddish and golden tones with some gray, because it is a sedimentary rock, it seems, but I haven't quite decided.
Make it like a mountaintop, or maybe like a just kind of I kind of imagine it as being one of those.
I was looking at Badlands
ones.
and like what was it? There was a national park in China or Thailand that had like rainbow mountains.
Oh wow!
And that's
From
like,
the
and it's like
metals
reds
the-
and yellows and grays all different.
That's
And so I was
cool.
like, that might work. I don't want to make it too garish because obviously the dragons are the main point of the piece. And that is a tip about basing, guys. No matter how excited you get about your basing, it should never overwhelm the rest of the model. So since I'm going with black and white dragons, I do have to be a little careful that I don't go too crazy with the base and everybody walks up and says, and the sign that you've done this, by the way, is people coming up and going, oh, I love your base, and not saying anything about your miniature. That's a sign that you have done the base is cooler than the miniature problem. Yeah, you've created that. It happens to all of us at one time or another. It happened to John Bono, he of How Not to Suck fame, when he put all this time into a mosaic floor for his Finari that he painted for Reaper, and everybody walked up and went, oh my god, I love the base. And then they'd walk away, and John would be like, but, the layering, the cloth, the hair.
all
and
this time and effort in these other places.
yes, all anybody looked at was the beautiful mosaic tile base on that Finari. Yes, so that is the problem with putting a lot of time into an awesome base.
I've 5 paints.
Iffy paints,
Iffy
yeah.
paints. Okay,
I
I'm
think.
sorry about that. Planer also asked the same question. You can expect that we're not going to do anything on Christmas Day. I think that's
We're all off work, so
work there. I would say that the Friday show too is also probably not going to exist because we're all going to go watch Star Wars. That means that Reaper Live, being that that's the day after Christmas, is probably also not going to happen.
yeah, we're probably going to take a little break there.
I would expect Monday and Tuesday. Well, they don't have anything Monday yet, right? So
Yeah.
I would expect something on Tuesday. Like Ed always works, so you're not gonna not have the opportunity to see him unless he's
Yeah,
just
totally give him
gone for
crap
some
about
reason.
being a workaholic and needing to take a day off.
Yeah, he doesn't now.
He doesn't do it as much as he used to.
Um,
Like, it used to be I'd walk in on some Sunday and he'd just be
Well,
here.
both the brothers still show up for that. They're usually here an hour or two every Sunday. It's
That's
their
crazy.
opportunity to get through emails without someone knocking on their door.
Someone, bugging him, that's true.
So I imagine we'll see something on Tuesday. The rest of the days are probably shot, but keep your eye out. That may change.
Yeah, we'll try to give you guys heads up on social media. We're trying to be a lot better about that now that we have somehow shoehorned John into doing social media for us.
Yeah, we're
Dedicated
gonna
social media
teach him.
person.
Volunteer
Yeah.
for extra work activities.
Yep. He's in it now. And here I am just again accenting the ends of each of the bones so that I can get that suggestion of detail. Again, you don't have to be terribly accurate with this. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Boop,
Congratulations, Eric, to get that semi-declared holiday, the Christmas Eve. That's awesome.
boop. Ooh. Yeah, we had to un-holiday Black Friday at Reaper because we're just so busy.
Fulfillments are getting crazy. They're doing a lot of orders a day. So
Yeah, I haven't even like asked, but I expect it's kind of crazy. Reaper makes everything okay, or at least a lot of things. Reaper makes a lot of things okay. Yeah, John got suckered in, Rhonda. Totally. Well, I think it started with the Reaper Live, or with
Bones
the
5
or
Live,
Bones
yeah.
5 rather, because John, got himself suckered in for doing that, and then he had a face. Like then people knew who he was. There was just no excuse not to further suck him in and make him somebody who actually communicated with the public. And he already does all our tours anyway, so whether he meant it or not, he stumbled into the Reaper PR position. The poor man. But actually, you guys are some of the best fans ever, so I don't think it's too bad.
I will have to agree, Ann. The painting community in general, that's centered on Reaper, both here on Twitch and just in general,
Oh, yeah.
has been very kind. I've watched a lot of streams in my life, and ours is probably one of the best.
Yeah. I think they're awesome too, because a lot of my patrons come from obviously the Reaper community as well, and we have a really nice community on our Discord that I really enjoy checking in with as often as I have time. I guess this is where I plug my Patreon, since I just finished doing the interior of these dragon wings. Well, I need to touch it up a little bit. It's a little dotty. But yeah, I have a Patreon, guys. Patreon.com/paintingbig. It's like thinking big. It's just painting big.
Do you have a link for that, Ann?
If you go to patreon.com/paintingbig, you could get a link for it. And one of the things that I really liked that I did for that recently was that I did a write-up for the $5 tier, which is my color workshop tier. That's all about the paint and the paint lines. I did a write-up on the holiday colors set, which all of you are like buying like crazy. And I kind of cover in that I give triads for them. So I talk about like what they are and what pigments, what colors go into them. And kind of how they act, and then I talk about what they're kind of useful for, and I actually give triads for them. More than one triad in most cases, so that you could buy 2 other colors and use that just like a triad in core. So yeah.
Awesome.
And
So
I'm
what
getting, go ahead.
What else do you think we have left to do on the wing today?
The wing is pretty close to done. Like how much time do I have? Do I have time to do veins?
It is 2:20 at this juncture.
Okay, so I've got I could use 40 minutes. I'm going to try to get all the veins done because I didn't quite get the veins done on these guys. So why not? Why not, Collins? Let's go for it. Because I think other wing is all good. So, yeah. I mean, I could do the underside of Dragon too. He's not too bad. Because I did do veins last week. So maybe I need to get his underside of his throat and stuff, but that should be pretty fast. All right, so underside of Dragon. We kind of neglected it because we were doing the overside of Dragon, who is very shiny, as you can see. Shiny and reflective. Look at him. And kind of iridescent, which was what I was aiming for. And I need to re-highlight his scales back here. He got a little bit of rub off.
So, and I guess we probably haven't covered it in a while. What is the tip or suggestion if someone's trying to be careful with painting a mini they don't want of that size?
Well, usually what I do, although I don't on here because it typically doesn't show up well on camera, what I usually do with a model that's this big or one that's heavy, especially a metal model, is I will get bubble wrap, and I'll actually, kind of the softer bubble wrap, I'll put a cushion of it on my hand and hold the mini that way. The bubble wrap is frictionless, and it also tends to, it doesn't slide against the vinyl paint, or the latex of the paint rather. So it's a nice secure way to hold onto the model, and you can even squeeze it to hold it a little harder, and the bubble wrap will prevent it from like rubbing off. So I really love using bubble wrap that way, and I used it like when I did my Overwatch statue repaint. I wrapped Soldier in bubble wrap because he's super heavy, and I didn't want to rub off all the work I'd already done when I was working on his jacket at the end. So I love bubble wrap as a tool for that. For this dragon, because he's bones, so he's not terribly heavy, I'm just trying to hold on to the tail. I can't do the tail yet anyway because the other dragon is going to like come over it and sock it into it. Things going to be covered up and all that. So I really want to finish the tail once all the dragons are in place. All glued onto their base and stuff. So for me, the tail is kind of the throwaway at this point to just rub off paint, and I try to be careful with everything else. Oh, the post is sufficient. Actually, for this, you may notice I actually shaved it down a bit. You probably can't see it quite, but there, see? You can see how I X-Acto knifed it. Sometimes with the Bones Mini, the posts are weird, and sometimes they're a little bit too big or a little too thick. So what I found that I did with this guy is I shaved it down on both ends until, and I did it gradually, until I could just socket the wing in and have it fit perfect. So I may do a little bit of putty work. I'm not sure though. He fits actually pretty well. And with a big spiny, scaly dragon, I think it's not as important to have a perfectly flush fit. If it looks right and it looks good, then I'm gonna be good. I need to like paint over to patch up this area a little bit once I have it all in place to make it look right. But other than that, it fits pretty well once I shaved it down.
Oh. I got a couple questions for you, and probably the most relevant here is this one that Everlina Vernassus just pointed out, which was, are there any tips of getting Reaper paint out of clothing?
Oh dear. The thing that I like to use, assuming it's not a really fragile fabric, is Winsor & Newton paint remover. It's actually brush conditioner, brush restorer, and it's brush cleaner and restorer, I think. Winsor & Newton brush cleaner and restorer. And it essentially will take it's a liquid, it's non-toxic liquid, and it'll take the paint out of the ferrule of the brush. It'll also strip the paint right off of your handle, and it can be used on your clothing to try to get paint. It's because essentially you want to soften up the paint and make it kind of liquefy or particulate again so that you can, so that it washes out. And I have used it. Be very careful though on fragile fabrics or dye jobs that you think might be vulnerable. Always test it on a small area. I'm gonna make his underside green.
Unbiased question, though I imagine it'll be a great Reaper answer, is what paint line has your favorite metallics?
Oh boy. You know, I actually like the metallic of a dead paint line. Okay, for different things though, guys, because like there's metallics, and it actually isn't a Reaper bias. I feel that because we stayed in non-toxic flakes, we're decent on the metallic front, but there are metallics that do some things better than we do. But I used to love the old Games Workshop in the Hex bottles. Their Mithril Silver was my go-to silver. I adored it, but it definitely was not non-toxic. Vallejo metallics I feel are good, but very comparable to our stuff, except that their air metallics, the Vallejo model air metallics, are really fine. And I find that you can do some good dings and scratches with them that are a little harder to do with our metallics. Like to do the same thing with our metallic, I have to mix in a little bit more like of white, for example, to get it to make a really fine, clear line. So I do like the Model Air Chrome for abrasions and scratches on silver. Other than that, I like our colored metallics a lot. I don't think anybody does quite like we do for those.
Speaking of colored metallics, does the champagne, Sophie Champagne, does that have, I mean, it's a metallic, but does it come off as more glittery than other metallics?
I'm trying to think of what flake she used. Sadie does like sparkle. Keep this in mind.
I think there's a, never mind. Hold on, carry on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's more glittery or not. I thought it ended up more satiny. It depends on which flake she used. Do we have one? Okay.
I think that's it.
Let me see. See, that looks straight up, that looks very pearl to me. So it is it's very silky is what it is. It's a very silky color. See it? So since I'm not seeing a lot of particulate in it, see, and this is what you're dealing with if you want to find out if it's kind of like more sparkle. But see, you don't see sharp sparkle. You see more of a pearl sheen. So I would say she's using the finer of our white flakes.
So this is a settled glass of champagne, not
yes.
a freshly opened.
Yes, not as freshly opened. Yeah, metallics, or yeah. Yeah, that's the problem with Vallejo because they use Crispy's Live because they use more of a vinyl base, which does settle out and does not have the longevity unless you're really attentive and make sure that you shake it frequently. At least every few months or definitely every year. Just like I tell people to do that with our paint too. In truth, if you left a Reaper sit for a couple of years though, you'd probably be okay. Not so much with a paint that's more vinyl because the vinyl tends to glob easier and faster, and it's heavier, so it settles out faster than like an acrylic lacquer or an acrylic vinyl. Acrylic resin, sorry, brain.
You
Obviously,
know
I
what?
need lunch.
It has been hard for me today with
Yeah.
words. I don't know
Wording
what's
is
the
hard
day.
today, guys. Wording is very hard. I'm just, at this point, I'm just indiscriminately mixing greens and whites and purples to try to get a little bit of detail in on my bottom of my dragon here. Just because I'm just gotta get a little
JJ
bit stuff
Trocken,
in.
thank you very much for that follow. As a
Yeah.
reminder, folks, we have currently on the table 2 giveaways of an
Ooh.
awesome little dragon.
Yes, awesome little
Dragon
dragon,
shows
Julie Guthrie's Young Fire Dragon, which I chose this week because you can do a lot of the techniques I'm doing on this Julie Guthrie dragon with your little Guthrie dragon. The scales are nice and sharply sculpted, and the wings are decent, and the head looks a lot like Mr. Black Dragon's head here. So I chose it for that reason. I chose it because I thought it would help you guys to like practice the techniques if you wanted to. And he's also a cute little dragon.
We are looking for 9 more subs to give away our 3rd model. So we can get 9 more folks.
Yep. Just smushing together some purple and green. And I'm trying to keep a lot of the surface black because obviously this is the underside of the dragon. Now he is kind of curving, so I gotta make sure I'm putting my highlights in the proper places and that they're not too strong. I think his paw actually picks up some light though, so I'm gonna wanna grab some purple and hit the paw. I accidentally got a little green in my purple, or a little black, or all of the above, because I haven't been rinsing out my brush. Normally I do not paint this haphazardly, but I really want to get Mr. Dragon pretty much done so that he looks nice.
Once thing gets him done, and I think there was a question about whether or not you're going to pin the wing or just glue it.
I'm just going to glue it. There's at this point it fits. If it fits nicely like it does now, there's really no reason to pin it with plastic. I find that a lot of times the super glue kind of melts the plastic together anyway. With the PVC, it really is strong. Like when we first got Bones Minis in, one of the tests we did was to glue one together and just like drive over it with a car, throw it off of our top, our balcony onto the concrete floor and see if it broke, pull on it and stretch it and see how durable it was. We did a lot of those kind of weird tests in those days just to see, right? See what we were working with. And we came to the conclusion that the super glue bond was actually stronger than some of the Bones plastic itself. So if I've got a good fit and I've got a good join, then I'm not afraid to go without pinning on a Bones model. Now for metal, you absolutely want to pin. And pinning is somewhat addictive. Once you start pinning, you want to keep pinning. There, I've got some highlights on his little paw to have the light like kind of pick him up. That's good. Good paw, good paw. There. All right, now I'm going to put a glaze over it because I can. Boop, 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 boop. There. There. We've got a nice paw, and I'm going to check his leg. His leg probably needs a little bit of highlight in the rear part there. So let's do that. Moving pretty fast. Now, when I'm doing kind of like basic highlighting like this, where I'm wet blending a surface, and you're like, well, it looks kind of choppy though. One thing you can do is you can go back afterwards if you want to neaten it up, grab your pure black, and just line between the scales. This is a great way to practice your lining too. And if you add a black line between the scales, everything looks sharper, and you still have all your blending that you did on all the scales. So it's actually a very fast way to paint dragons. See, and now his scales look a little sharper. Ta-da! Oh, pinning these dragons, if it's drooping. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. This guy's balanced up. His wings should be okay. Where are they drooping, Everlina? Like, where in particular? What parts?
And just another thing too to remember is that I think the models that we're using weren't the same models that were used in production. So kind of bear that in mind when we start to put ours together. I think the one that you ended up with, Anne, was one of the first shots, not the.
Oh, okay.
Not what was actually given out in Kickstarter. Although I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And then in either case, once she gets done with the dragon, we'll get some pictures and have John post that to the social media.
Oh
outlets.
yeah, sure. Yeah, because we want more people to tune in to watch the dragon painting. Because everybody like gets tempted to paint an awesome large dragon, and they don't have to be huge time sinks. Now I am spending, you know, time doing veins on the wings and doing a bunch of extra little bits that I like, and you know, playing with different colors and making it kind of iridescent-y. But you don't have to do that. You could just do the wet blending technique I'm doing and paint a dragon very quickly, with a lot, much reduced pain and suffering. On your part, the dragon doesn't care. No dragons were harmed in the making of this video. But they don't have to be, you can get them to look good without spending, you know, 100 hours on them. Now, if you do spend 100 hours on them, then you have a competition piece, but.
Unless you paint like me, and then you spent 100 hours and it still looks like finger painted.
It is young dragon. That's what we are giving away, multiple young dragons, so that we can, so that you guys can practice your dragons on a dragon that looks very similar to this.
And right now we are going to give away 2 of them.
Yes,
so
we're still waiting with for a few more subs. How many more subs?
9.
Oh,
still,
9 more subs.
Unless I missed somebody who denoted.
9 more subs to give away another dragon. Right now we're up to 2 dragons. Yeah, but yeah, since it's a metal miniature, which is, you know, different than we usually do, and thus it is worth more, I'm being restrained. Oh, one thing we are kind of planning to do, guys, is, yeah, when we do my new Pro Tips show, the week of January 7th, 8th, and 9th, we'll probably be doing giveaways of the model that I'm painting on the show. We may do giveaways of the paint that we use. I'm not sure yet. We'll see.
That would be ideal. That way I can just take whatever you've used and do it as a giveaway instead of having to clean it up.
Yep. And
it's
we
like
may,
and not at the same time.
And we haven't decided this yet, but we may actually give away the model that I've actually painted on, so that you guys, whoever is super lucky, could get a model that is a small section painted by me, so that they can use it for when they're painting their own stuff as a reference. That is a hypothetical thing that could happen. Painting dragon bits. Dragon inside of this leg, although this leg is actually in full shadow, so very little highlights on this, the inside of this other leg. I'm just going to go real dark with it. A little more green. Get a little bit of just reflected light on there. Yep, I went a little heavy, so I'm going to grab a little bit of my black and just kind of smoosh it in. Finish that leg. There. And his underside paw there. This is also in shadow, but I do need to paint it over. All right, dragon. He really has progressed quite well. I'm very happy with him. Obviously, he still is lacking a paw because his paw links up with the other dragon. So we'll have to deal with that when we get to that point. To try to make that all work
Zeke,
together.
we appreciate that sub.
Thank you for the sub.
That leaves us 8 more to go.
8 subs. How much time do we have, Mr. Collins?
We have, well, it does obviously depend on you, Ann, but we are at 25 minutes till the hour.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be more likely to run slightly over when we switch to our new time slot because I won't be as hungry.
Yeah, the lunch impact is real here.
Yeah, the lunch impact is totally real. Like, I usually eat at 1:30, and instead I'm streaming, so I ended up eating lunch at 3. So yeah, that's why I can't word today. I'm going to give that as my official reason why I can't word today. Gonna put some green down here.
Averlina and Infantana 3. Are you guys? Is it drooping after you paint it or before? Because I have this one up here that we've had assembled since before I even started painting, and that one doesn't look like it's doing anything up there. But there's also no paint on it whatsoever. So kind of curious when it started
drooping.
When does it start to droop? Yeah.
It is a big dragon, but there is, I don't know, I have to like look at the contact points. Then I'd have to try to figure out how to troubleshoot it.
Ruh-roh. All right, stream. Let me know if it's us that's having the issues.
Oh no, do we have stream issues? No.
Yeah, but we're streaming, Chica.
We are not permitted to have streaming issues. Internet loves us. The gods of the internet must not withdraw their favor. I'm just kind of putzing around now, adding some highlights.
Oh man, yeah, I'm getting
some lag.
Yeah.
Some stuff.
I
Oh
know
no!
I saw the Frontier van out front doing work, but come on. I don't know. The rest of it seems to be fine. It's probably us, to be honest.
Probably us.
Yeah, because other people's streams don't seem to be having any problems.
So it's probably not a Twitch, Twitch issue.
But I'm not showing that we're dropping any frames. So
Weird.
yeah,
Is it lying to us?
something's lying.
Got a little bit. Decided I was going to get some spiny stuff
real
down.
choppy when it's on here.
Oh, okay. Could it be a local, like, computer issue, or are we seeing it on stream?
No, it's just our stream, so it's not a computer problem. But like I said, there's a guy out front.
In the Frontier truck?
Yeah.
He could be
just
futzing.
tearing some cables up, so.
No, not during my stream, dude. This just exacerbates my irritation with Frontier in general.
Yeah.
And yes, I just used the word exacerbates on stream. So vocabulary are us.
Is there anything? Is your internet working fine?
Just doing some touch-ups along his back where I rubbed off some paint earlier.
All right, Ann. The word is that the entire shop's internet's going wonky.
Uh-oh. We better wrap it up then.
Yeah, I'd like to do this giveaway now.
All right, we're going to do giveaway. Giveaway. 2 baby dragons.
So, folks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the names for the giveaway, and then we're going to, unfortunately, kind of wrap up a little sooner because I don't want you guys to have to watch this ebb and flow situation going on here.
I need more green on that.
And then we will get a raid set up as well.
There we go. Shiny dragon.
Joshmin in the min. Josh and Min. We're going to give away 2.
Pretty dragon. He looks more purple on one wing than on the other. I'll have to glaze it. Oh, I didn't glaze it. Oh, I'm going to glaze it now.
All right. And just as a reminder, for those people who do win the giveaway, you do need to send us some information. And do you happen to remember the information?
Oh my gosh, I never remember the information, Mr. Collins. Can you remind me?
I sure can. What we're going to do is send your user handle, because that's what I'm going to do. That's how we're going to know it's you. That's your Twitch user handle. We're also going to need you to send your real name and address, because you're going to want this item. We want you to get it. And that's about it. You need to send that to reaperlive@reapermini.com.
Indeedy. All of that stuff. What he just said. Collins has my back. When I forget. I'm just glazing like crazy. Sometimes imprecise is better.
However, all that being said, it seems like the stream's stabilized again.
We were premature in our giveaways.
Well, we have not announced a name yet, so be sure to put in your hashtag freeze.
Oh, very jumpy, Nomad Zeke says.
Oh. Yeah, it's still a little choppy when I'm watching it, but there's a lot of stuff on my screen.
Super jumpy, they're saying. Which is funny because I'm not doing anything, so at that point...
Well, there's delay.
Not much I can do, yeah. All right, let's see. Interior good, exterior good. This guy's interior needs little touch-ups. I'm just going to keep painting because I can, so I will. Touch up the dragon.
Also, definitely on the stream, it looks like the color is getting weird on the...
Yeah. Yeah, I was noticing some color issues. But that's okay. We're almost done. And if we end a little early, we end a little early. I mean, it's a bummer because I love hanging out with y'all. Doing some subtle highlights on the underside of this wing. Make sure that we've got it all figured out. But yeah, I will be able to actually glue Mr. Dragon together when I get downstairs. into my office where my glue lives, which is exciting. Mr. Dragon will finally be glued. Then the worst he will need is touch-ups and, well, his tail done eventually. His tail's going to be naked for a while, I'm afraid. All right. Any other questions, my dears?
Oh, yeah. Well, I stopped paying attention. I was trying to figure out what was going on with the internet.
Yep.
Nomad, I'm going to go ahead and say 5 away. If we can get 5 more, we'll give a third away.
Yeah.
I lost track of the number, to be honest. Also, Chris Air, thank you very much for that sub.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yay. Yay for subs. It helps convince the bosses that this is actually worthwhile.
Yeah, we like
having job security. Job security is the best. We appreciate that. Actually, the bosses have tried to keep the minis cheaper from the very first day of Reaper. That was one of their goals, was to put out a quality product that didn't break the bank, because they saw a lot of miniatures companies raising prices, and they wanted to keep everything more accessible. And so Bones just kind of worked hand in hand with that original Reaper goal of giving you guys good quality for a good price.
Tazalanchi is pointing out the appropriate phrasing for marketing. They're not cheap minis, they're inexpensive minis.
They're affordable minis. I'll do you one better. Affordable minis. Minis that fit into your budget.
Fun words and the implications they have in our life.
Market speak. It is funny. I'm actually taking my Patreon class. I have a workshop that I'm taking for Patreon. And they're like, we're doing the marketing unit right now. And I'm like, oh no, market speak.
It is important.
It is important to have a clear message for sure, which is why we're covering that topic.
Nomad. There we go, Nomad. Bring us into the third. We appreciate you, buddy.
Yay! Nomad Zeke, yay! I appreciate it so much.
I would concur with chat. Even though our miniatures are not expensive per miniature, it, a lot like many other things, turns into, well, I got this idea, so I'll pick this one up. And I got this idea, so I'll pick that one up. And then all of a sudden, you're back in a Kickstarter. And shortly after that, your wife is making you get rid of all of your miniatures because you're not painting any of them.
Well, that's why you need to sit down and paint with me on stream, or get on my Patreon and get all inspired to paint. It's totally a thing. Look for painting inspiration. There does come a point where you must stop consuming and start painting.
For me, it's just buying them because they're really good in my mind, and then I have them. I do sit down to do some painting, but
yes, the key is sitting down. Once you sit down, you are likely to paint.
Ooh, beef hole here. When is Bone 7 coming out?
7.
I really like that you spent the little circle dollar things to make sure it is highlighted. I appreciate that. Bone 7 would definitely follow Bone 6, which neither have been announced, although 6 was confirmed. Because
was it?
Too many times they said, we're going to move this to Bone 6. So,
yeah. So the bosses have inadvertently confirmed it. Yes.
Yeah. Now, when that's going to happen, that's still way up in the air.
I mean, you could study our past Kickstarter trajectory and probably come up with a good ballpark for that.
Yeah, and then you would likely find that we're going to throw a wrench in it.
Yep, because it always happens. Reaper has a lot of stuff going on now, and so inevitably, the Bones 5 Kickstarter was supposed to go earlier than it did too, but things come up and we have to juggle. Because it's the same people running all this stuff, all of us. It's this very small company still.
Yeah, we took pictures of the
staff today, didn't we?
today.
Yeah. How many were there?
Not as many as Dave thought.
Oh, wow.
Dave has 50 on the books, and I probably took pictures of 20, 25.
Yeah, that's more like what I thought. There were a couple people who weren't there.
Yeah, I think we're closer to 30 or 35 in this building.
Yeah.
Not all at one time, because obviously I didn't take pictures of people, but at any given moment, about 35 people here.
Yeah, 35 people producing all of this awesome, guys. Think about it. Well, then, of course, we've got our freelancers, our sculptors and our painters, who also are, Reaper peeps.
Oh, there's definitely a lot in our community that are not on the payroll.
Yeah.
Specifically. without many people like Bird with a Brush, Clever
Yeah.
Crow, kind of the list goes on, and I'm sorry if I forget anybody, that, without you guys, we're only just a piece of the puzzle, so you guys help make the puzzle
Oh yeah, no.
complete.
Without our
Then we
our
get to frame it.
auxiliary, our people who actually like paint a lot of stuff for us. So people always ask if I painted everything in our gallery, and I'm like, a tiny fraction of it, a tiny fraction. Could not have done it without all my friends who also paint for us.
Reaper is my crack, which is someone who won something yesterday. 471 unpainted minis. I'm glad that you kept track of that, Reaper.
Wow, if I had that, I'm
stopped counting.
scared. I'm scared to ask myself. Like, although I'm gonna have to, like, I don't know. I'm trying to organize. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing with my microphone. It's bad. I'm a bad Anne. No, actually, I'm a very good Anne. I'm just a bad microphone person.
Oh, Evil Halfling says they only have 46 left to go from their Bones 3.
Wow, that's progress.
It's definitely great. I had the Bones 1 box. Most of them just stayed in the box.
You could have sold that on eBay for a lot of money, Everybody wanted that first vampire set.
Ooh, Zulajita, thank you very much for that sub. We
Yay,
appreciate
subbies! Yay! All right. Well, yeah, dragon wings, guys, and dragons, and dragons that are going to go together now. Yay! Here, Mr. Dragon, come and say hi. He says, "Look at me! Look at me! I'm also
That's
pretty,
awesome.
and now my wings are green. Both of my wings are green now." He says.
We can change the shot if you'd like. Can we hold them? And
Okay. Do, 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 do. Oh, there. There we go.
yeah.
There
He's the
he is,
perfect size to be a
everybody.
little familiar to like put on your cosplay outfit.
You might have to convert him a little bit, but yeah, he could snap at a butterfly. Like you could, do that whole thing. Like he's coming off your shoulder, like get away from my human mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Maybe they eat mosquitoes. That would make tiny dragons that ate mosquitoes would be awesome invention. We need that. Anything that eats mosquitoes is good in my book.
The old dragonflies.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. Flap, 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 flap. Ah! Uh-oh. You all didn't see that. I don't have glue up here. I will glue them together when we get down there, though. So almost I should peg him onto the base and at least have the base up here, and he can sit there while we paint Mr. White Dragon.
That is absolutely right. Because
cheer
when we
him
do,
on.
when we're in this frame, we could put him over there on the wheel. and
Yeah,
that
we
way
can put him
he'll
on the
always
wheel. Therefore, the whole thing is like kind of doing that.
Visible-ish,
So.
yeah. absolutely.
Crispy's Live. Probably I'm going to go with a white or an off-white or a silver. So white versus black or silver versus black. People have been nagging me to do an NMM dragon. I'm not convinced yet, but I might if I feel really crazy.
Ooh, and what's the best way for that craziness to happen?
What? To make an NMM dragon?
Yeah.
You just have to like taunt me enough.
Mhm.
Yes. Big monthly giveaway. How's the
Oh,
overall sub count?
I'm not going to lie to you, Dan. That is not a me question. I'm not sure where Justin actually tracks that, to be honest.
The human does have a face.
And Twitch changed its streamer manager recently.
Oh, so we can't look it up as easily.
We probably can. I cannot.
Okay, yes, Justin would have the how-to. So yeah, so ask Ed, bug Ed about the big monthly giveaway and ask him how many we've got. M&M Dragon.
Those are great questions, though, to send to reaperlive at reapermini.com. Any
Yes.
opportunity you can flood Justin's email box with emails, I am always for.
Indeedy. M&M Dragon, chocolate covered with candy coating. All right, so Reaper Urban Legends. Things overheard at Reaper. At one point, somebody asked us if we did, what was it? If we did, what's the molds that aren't rubber but they're like silicone? If we did silicone molds, could we actually cast Reaper minis in chocolate? Somebody actually brought that up at Reaper one year.
I'm not going to lie to you. 3D printing is getting to the point where you can make a lot of things in whatever material you want. So I would not be surprised that something like that wouldn't be.
Chocolate miniatures are a
Yeah.
thing, are gonna do.
I wouldn't put that off the table. And now that we've talked about it out loud, I will see what I can do, chat, to push that.
It was years ago, and we turned it down because we would have needed a food license. like we would have fallen under all that. You've got to have a clean kitchen, and you've got to,
no.
suddenly food inspectors would be crawling over a miniatures company.
Those guys are no joke.
Yes, but
With the store turning into the pizza place, we have to be doing that anyway, right?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Knowledged.
Now is the time for food grade silicone molds for Reaper miniatures so that we can have chocolate Sir 4 scales. That is brilliant.
Oh, that I like the 4 scale. The 4 scale idea is probably the best part of that.
Yep. That's what Josh and Min. Thanks for the suggestion.
Yep. Getting bit off.
It's a food printer. Yep. Chocolate Sophies. Yeah, we do need chocolate Sophies. Choco Goblins. Yeah.
Any disposable monster unit. Yeah.
Oh, Numbat, that's already happened. I mean, I've used M&Ms or chocolates as counters in games before, and yes, they totally ate them once they were dead.
That's how I gambled when I was a child. Our family didn't have money, so we used candy as and oftentimes I ran out of pot simply because I ate it all. So
Oh, no.
I could no longer play the game.
Yeah, food grade silicone would work. Yep. We thought about it, Reaper is my crack. We actually thought about it. But yeah, it's the food inspections that delicious total party wipeout. Yes, if we're opening Pizza Dungeon, then okay, well, we got it. Yes, I'm putting you in charge of this, Colin.
I will bring it up.
Yep.
Now, that is not to say it'll go very far.
No, but you can bring it up and put Ed on the spot on camera, and you never know what he'll say. And once he's committed, then you guys can bug him.
Though, to be fair, he is really good about being not committal.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is. Yes, you like your minis more durable. I get it, Evil Halfling. But as a novelty item, it would kind of rock.
Oh, I like little espresso ones too.
Oh, don't even start on the fillings.
The list goes on. All right, so we ready to give some of these things away?
Yeah, I think it's time to give some of these things away.
We are at 3. So
I'm just thrilled because now I can move on to a new dragon. And Black Dragon is like, yay, swooping. Chocolate Mouselings, that would be great.
All right, here we go. I have 3 names. That's right, 3 folks who have won the dragon that Ann is going to show us in our little package. Beep. And was linked earlier.
Yes, it's a dragon that you can do the techniques that I did on this dragon with, except smaller. So it's more doable, shall we say. It is less likely to take up a ton of your time, and you can still practice the techniques.
Little dragon on the bottom there, plus the link that I put in chat. And be sure to look for your name.
Grim, we totally would still paint the candy dragons. Haven't you seen those fancy truffle chocolates where they actually use an airbrush to paint and design the outside, and it's all edible and it's so tasty?
All right, name number 1. We got nathanmckeehan. And then we have green_12. That's Roman numeral 12. And nuinkoad.
All right.
So don't forget, folks.
Congrats, guys. You got dragons. Please email
reaperlive@reapermini.com, and you will need to give us both your Twitch handle so we can confirm and your shipping address.
Doug, you'd have to paint it super fast or use a slightly, I'm thinking, because frosting, because a normal, you could use any, you just need to make sure that it's fairly clean. They make pastry brushes that are food approved.
There are a lot of ways to get color on your food that are perfectly edible. Mm-hmm. A lot of ways.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the airbrush idea is just nice because, well, half of us already own airbrushes, right? So you just have to make sure that you clean it really well.
Or just a non-toxic paint will be fine. Yeah.
You just need the food grade paint. Like, I'm sure that whatever stuff they're using to color those chocolates is out there on the market somewhere. Of course. We live to entertain. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I know we're going to take 2 weeks off of this show, but then we're going to come back in January with all new shows and new time slots and things. So you're going to see me like 4 times a week, like crazy. Like, hopefully you don't get sick of me.
And if everything goes well, we will up that up.
Yeah. If you guys tune in enough when we start the new thing, when we start ToolBox Pro Tips, then we will do it more days a week. We can expand it into Monday, perhaps even Friday. We'll see. Yay!
Right. I'm going to have us raid a sculptor who looks like she's fairly new at sculpting, but she's doing it in 3D. So
3D sculpting in ZBrush or whatever?
Yeah, that's what it kind of looks like.
All right, totally raid her. Tell her she needs to get good enough to work for Reaper.
That's always the plan. Everybody should be good enough to work for for the Reaper.
All right, are you guys ready to rate her? Get ready. Get ready, folks. Get ready. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.